Welcome back, Atlas Explorers. Today, we're embarking on a profound journey into the human mind. We'll dive into the complex world of social psychology, exploring how our minds react to collective trauma, and uncover cutting-edge science reshaping our understanding of mental health. From the psychological mechanisms behind our responses to crises to the history and myths of psychiatric treatments, this exploration will change how you see yourself and the world around you. Buckle up for a mind-bending adventure. Our story begins in the early 20th century, a time when mental illness was shrouded in stigma and misunderstanding. Treatments were often harsh, and patients endured inhumane conditions. But everything changed in 1952 when the American Psychiatric Association published the first edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM-I. This groundbreaking moment began a more standardized approach to diagnosing mental health conditions. Throughout history, humanity has faced countless crises, wars, pandemics, natural disasters that have left deep psychological scars on individuals and entire communities. This shared experience of trauma is what we call collective trauma, a concept rooted in social psychology that reveals how these events impact the mental health of societies for generations. Did you know that the concept of collective trauma, a psychological phenomenon that affects entire societies, was first introduced by French sociologist Émile Durkheim in the early 1900s? It wasn't until the aftermath of World War II that the term gained real traction, as psychologists began to explore the lasting impact of the Holocaust on survivors. Fast forward to the 1980s and 90s, and collective trauma was further studied after crises like the Vietnam War and the AIDS epidemic. But the journey into understanding the human mind was far from over. The 1950s and 60s brought about the rise of psychotropic medications like Thorazine, known as a chemical straitjacket, for its ability to manage symptoms of schizophrenia. During this era, controversial treatments such as electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, and lobotomies were also introduced, methods that were seen as both groundbreaking and deeply troubling. However, the treatment of mental illness has come a long way since those early days. By the late 20th century, the focus shifted toward more humane and effective therapies. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, developed in the 1960s by Aaron Beck, revolutionized the field by providing a structured, evidence-based approach to treating disorders like depression and anxiety. In the digital age, our exposure to traumatic events has only increased. According to a study highlighted by Colby College's Social Psychology blog, the constant stream of disturbing news and images can lead to what psychologists call vicarious trauma, a phenomenon where individuals experience trauma simply by witnessing the suffering of others. This is particularly relevant in our hyper-connected world, where social media and 24/7 news cycles can amplify the sense of crisis. But how exactly does collective trauma affect the brain? Research published in Semantic Scholar suggests that exposure to collective trauma can trigger changes in the brain's structure and function. Areas like the amygdala, which is responsible for processing emotions, and the prefrontal cortex, which governs decision-making and self-control, can become hyperactive or impaired. This can lead to heightened anxiety, depression, and even physical symptoms like headaches and fatigue. Thanks to advanced imaging techniques like fMRI and PET scans, researchers can now observe brain activity in real time. This breakthrough has led to a deeper understanding of disorders like PTSD, bipolar disorder, and OCD. A 2012 study by the American Psychological Association revealed specific neural pathways associated with these conditions, paving the way for more precise treatments. But it's not just about diagnosis. Neuroscience also helps us understand how stress and trauma impact the brain. Research from Psychology Today shows that chronic stress can alter brain structure, contributing to mental health issues later in life. This highlights the crucial need for early intervention and preventative care. So, how do we heal from collective trauma? According to a 2017 Time magazine article, community resilience plays a vital role. Strong social bonds, shared narratives, and communal support can transform collective pain into strength. Communities with robust social networks are better equipped to handle and recover from crises. Initiatives like community-based therapy and public memorials help mitigate long-term trauma effects and foster collective healing. And here's a fascinating twist. Recent research, as discussed in Aeon in 2018, shows that lifestyle practices like mindfulness and meditation aren't just trendy, they're backed by science. These practices can rewire the brain, enhancing resilience and emotional well-being. This holistic approach is reshaping how we think about mental health treatment and prevention as we face an increasingly uncertain world. At Curious Atlas, we believe that knowledge is the first step toward resilience. By exploring psychological phenomena, we can not only better understand ourselves, but also build stronger, more connected communities. Stay curious, Atlas Explorers, and remember, in the face of adversity, we are stronger together. Share this video with those who seek to understand the world a little better.